So there's a subject that I want to talk about that I find isn't really tackled by a lot of people, and I feel like it's a pretty important one, not just in the fitness industry, in probably all of society. I really want to talk about like mental illness, depression, and anxiety specifically, as those are subjects that I know a little bit more about because those are both things that I have dealt with myself. Increasingly lately, I've been talking to, you know, overwhelming amount of people that have expressed that anxiety is something that they normally feel often, or that they have, struggled with depression, or a combination of both of them. It is staggering, the amount of powerlifters and bodybuilders who I've noticed and who have expressed that these are things that they deal with on a regular, and there's no real resources out there. I mean, specifically for the fitness industry to do with mental illness. And I think that's unfortunate. When I was younger, depression was something that was very real for me, to the point that, having suicidal thoughts and actually trying to take my own life a couple of times. And it's definitely something that I'm becoming increasingly more comfortable talking about, though it's still, with the stigma around it, makes it really hard sometimes to open up to people about it, because there's often a weakness that is attached to struggling with these kinds of things. And the reality of it is, as somebody who was well immersed in depression at one point in my life, it's not something you can control, and it's not a weakness. It's really hard for me to listen to other people tell me their stories, not because I don't want to listen. It's hard in the sense that I can empathize completely with the feeling that they're feeling inside. That feeling of being completely torn apart, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop it from happening. It's the worst pain that you've ever felt, because there's nothing you can do to stop it, and sometimes it doesn't heal. And I see so many people that are stuck in that, and it's virtually impossible to see any kind of light at the end of the tunnel. And I listen to this, and you want to explain to them, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Depression is something that I've overcome. This is not something that is a reality most of the time in my life. I do still struggle daily with anxiety, which I've had since I was 10 years old. I remember crying in school and not understanding why, and it was because I was so overwhelmed and I had so much anxiety. It's a normal part of my life now, and I've developed coping mechanisms and ways that I can best deal with it, and understanding that it's only temporary and your mind is stronger than your anxiety. I mean, I've noticed that my anxiety has been worse since I've started powerlifting, and I contribute that to the fact that I am so emotionally in love and involved in my lifting that I feel wholeheartedly when, I'm doing something, and it causes excess stress on my life, obviously, because I'm invested in something so much. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that emotionally you have to be ready for these kinds of implications. I was speaking with somebody the other day who was talking about doing a bodybuilding show, and they were talking about doing it for fun. And, there is some aspect, obviously, to doing it for fun and to push yourself, and see how far that you can go with it. But a lot of people fail to see that there's a completely different aspect to it, the emotional and mental taxation that you take on yourself to do it. I always wish that there's just so much more that I could do. It's just that I never really know where to start, because I myself am still immersed in my own struggles, fighting anxiety and overcoming those on a daily basis when, I get too overwhelmed, and I have a tendency to push myself too hard, and I have a tendency to be a perfectionist, and I have a tendency to emotionally invest myself in the things that I do, which is emotionally taxing, and it is overwhelming, and it is hard for me. I think not enough people go into these kinds of things, and even any kind of fitness or any kind of bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever you're doing, going into them with having like goals that are orientated towards the lifting or towards the sport that they're doing, but not enough goals that are orientated towards being mentally strong and mentally healthy and being a mentally fit athlete in some way. You need a fit mind to be that foundation underneath all of your lifting. And it's acknowledging that you have the power to change that. And it's not like, I'm choosing not to be this way and you're just not going to be that way. It's something that you have to constantly remind yourself. It's easier said than done, but it's a habit. You have to make it a habit. You have to practice it. And it's never going to be perfected. It's just, at least you're taking control of yourself. The success is going to come from just persevering through that and knowing that even though you feel so helpless, and even though nothing is making sense to you, even though that you feel like nothing can get better, but you keep pushing into the unknown. Mark Bell talks about it in, going towards your goals and your successes, is you're going to keep pushing even though you don't even know where you're working toward, but you just keep going because you're going for something that isn't where you are. And where you are is not working for you. So if you just keep pushing, even if it doesn't seem like you're doing anything at all, it's better than staying where you are and letting it consume you. And I really would urge you to have open discussions about it and know that you're not alone, not even remotely close to alone. You start an open discussion with people, you're going to soon realize that there's a lot of people who struggle with mental illness. I have to go to the gym now. I'm going to go squat and deadlift, I think. I don't even know. I've slept like 3 hours. Maybe I challenge you to make a goal today, something in the immediate future that you want to do a little bit better with a positive mindset, or with something you want to see change with your attitude, your emotion, your mental. Make a goal that challenges you to be more mentally fit and mental toughness. That's my challenge to you. So leave your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and keep it sleazy.